back to my kitchen. My name is Rabbi Finn. You are here for another Bereishit Bites from Bournemouth Wood and Elstree United Synagogue. Every week I'm creating a new recipe for you to make to celebrate that week's Torah portion. This week is Toldot. Toldot is an amazing portion. It starts off with the birth of two children who are complete opposites. On the one hand you have Yaakov, on the other hand you have Esav. And this rivalry grows and grows and grows until you have a moment fairly early on in the portion where Esav comes into the field. He's really tired. People are trying to kill him. He says, give me some of that red thing, i.e. some lentil soup that Yaakov had been making. Yaakov says, I'm only going to give it to you if you sell me your bechorah, you sell me your birthright. Esav thinks, okay, why not? I'll send you the birthright. I'll have a pot of soup or stew. And the rest seems to be that they live happily ever after, except for we know it doesn't go like that. Because towards the end of this week's portion, Yitzchak is getting very old. And Yitzchak wants to give over the birthright to his son, to Esav. And Rivka overhears what's happening and says to Yaakov, we need to stop this. And so Yaakov dresses up like Esav, gives Yitzchak some food like Esav would have given it, and gets the blessing from Yitzchak. Esav obviously is mad, and at the end of a portion vows to try and kill Yaakov. So Yaakov is sent away to family to go find a wife and to go find some refuge from his brother, from Esav. To celebrate this week's portion, we are going to be making, obviously, a red lentil soup. A red lentil soup which is so fundamental to the narrative, but this is not just any red lentil soup. We are making a red lentil soup with sweet potato, chili and coconut. Trust me, this is the most amazing soup, certainly worth selling your birthright for. Before we do so, let me just share with you a very short idea, because it appears to me that actually there is a message which transcends the Parsha, which comes through as a narrative arc from the beginning to the end of this week's Torah portion. And the message is, watch out. Be careful of making quick decisions. Because we have two decisions which are made in haste, and both of them, in my opinion, turn out wrong. The first decision made in haste is that of Esav selling his birthright, something so special, something so amazing, for a bowl of soup. If Esav had taken only a moment to pause, to think about it, to examine what was happening, I'm sure he would have made a different decision. And yet he doesn't. He is so hungry that he's driven by this hunger to make a bad deal without thinking about it. And that has consequences for the end of a portion, where we have another decision being made quickly. This time a decision being made by Rivka. Rivka overhears that Yitzchak has sent Esav out to go hunt and to go prepare a meal. Why? Because Yitzchak wants to give his birthright over. She thinks this can't happen. It's supposed to go to Yaakov. Yaakov is the one who is going to take the Jewish project further. It can't go to Esav. But instead of stopping and thinking about how best can I change Yitzchak's mind, perhaps I should go speak to Yitzchak, perhaps I should go rationally discuss this with Yitzchak, she goes down to Yaakov and says, quickly, we need to act very quick, we need to get you dressed up, we need to give you some food so that you can go get the birthright. And in doing so, she loses both of her children. Yaakov is sent away and does not return before she dies, and I find it very difficult to believe that Esav and even Yitzchak were on talking terms with her after this event. Rivka's haste, although for a good reason, leads to potentially a bad decision. The outcome that she wanted could have been achieved through other means. And so I think the message is clear, that when we are running, we make bad decisions. When we are going too fast, we make bad decisions. And so perhaps we need to all slow down a little bit. Pause, think, reflect before we make a decision. With that in mind, let me tell you about a really great decision, and that is for you to make the soup that I'm going to show you how to make. As I said, we are making a red lentil soup with sweet potato, chili and coconut. Enjoy. So we are making a red lentil soup with sweet potato, coconut and chili. This is an amazing soup, and certainly one which might make you tempted to sell your birthright. Trust me, I'm a Yaakov, therefore I know how to make a red lentil soup, and this one is absolutely amazing. It is based quite largely on a recipe I came across on the Jamie Oliver website, so shout out to him and his website for this brilliant soup. I'm going to be demonstrating it using an electronic pressure cooker. I've got here my Instant Pot. This is amazing. You really want to buy one of these. But if you don't have one of these, you can easily use a hob. I'm just demonstrating it all on this side so it is much easier. I will explain how to do it on the hob as well. To start off with, you want to get your pan really hot and you want to put in about a tablespoon of olive oil. Into that, you want to add in 1 roughly chopped onion. It really does not matter if you finely dice it or literally chop it up like this, because it's all going to be zhuzhed up at the end. So, an onion in there, you get the sizzle, an onion in there just to get it going. And whilst the onion is frying, you want to add in also 3 cloves of garlic. Really simple. 1 onion, 3 cloves of garlic. And we're putting in a chili. So I'm using 1 red chili, which I'm going to de-seed because you don't want the seeds in there, that's going to be a bit too hot. So just de-seed it onto a side. You can clean it up afterwards. And again, chop it into 4, 5 bits and throw it in so that it's going to start getting all aromatic. Whilst that is starting to fry, you want to prepare your sweet potatoes. I'm using a kilo bag of sweet potatoes, which I've peeled and topped and tailed, so it's probably about 900 grams of sweet potato. This soup will serve about 6 to 8 people. In fact, I've probably even served 12 people, just given them really stingy portions in the past. You just want to roughly chop the sweet potato into chunks so it is manageable for your pot. Once your onion and chili and garlic has started to fry a little bit, add into that same pot a teaspoon of cumin, ground cumin. That make it 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. And go for 1 teaspoon of coriander. Now I know not everybody likes coriander, so if you really don't like coriander, if it is really quite horrible to you, just leave it out. But I do quite like a bit of coriander into my soup. That smells amazing. And add in your red lentils. So I'm using 1 cup of red lentils. It's about 175 grams of red lentils. This is, after all, a red lentil soup. Into the pot, give it all a really good mix. You want the cumin to mix in, you want the chili to mix in, you want the coriander to mix in, you want the garlic to mix in. Once you've covered your lentil mix with those spices, add in your sweet potato to the pot. And you want to add a good heaped tablespoon of stock powder. In truth, again, if you fancy not putting this in, that's okay as well. I find it just adds a little bit more flavour that is going to be required. Once you've done that and given it all another really good mix, add boiling water. You want to add about 2 litres of boiling water, or enough boiling water to cover all the potatoes. Now, if you're doing this on the stove, you want to bring this to a boil and let it simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes till the potatoes are super soft and the lentils are cooked through. If you're doing it like I am using an electronic pressure cooker, cook it on high pressure for 10 minutes and then let it lose its pressure. So I'm going to put my pressure cooker on for 10 minutes. I'm going to leave it there and I'll see you once it is finished to add in the coconuts. So I'll see you in about 10-15 minutes time once my soup has finished cooking. As I say, 25 minutes on the stove, 10 minutes in a pressure cooker. You can see why I'm using a pressure cooker. The soup has cooked and the potatoes are soft and the lentils are done. It's now time to add the coconut. We're going to be using this, which is a super ingredient. It is called creamed coconut. Effectively, it is coconut milk, but in a box. It's 100% pure coconut. It's available in all good supermarkets and kosher stores. And it comes in boxes of about 200 grams. You want to use about half for this dish, so I'm going to use about 100 grams of the creamed coconut. If you want it super creamy, add the whole thing in, but that's the same as adding in 2.5 tins of coconut milk. So have a little think about that before you do it. So adding in half a thing of creamed coconut, so it's about 100 grams of creamed coconut. Make sure you get both parts because sometimes it splits. And once you've added that in, it's going to start to break up as you do the final element of this dish, which is to blend it. You want to blend it all together so it is super, super smooth. So I'm going to blend it and then I'll show you the finished product. Finish blending it, it should be a thick soup, but not so thick that it stays on your spoon. Give it a little bit of a taste for seasoning. That is so good. Ooh, it's got a bit of kick as well. If you don't like chili, or if you don't want it to be too spicy, only put in half a chili. If you want only a tiny bit of a kick, put in a quarter thing of chili, but this is perfect as it is. So here you've got it, my red lentil soup with sweet potato, coconut and chili. Let's give it a try. That is really good. It's got a beautiful kick at the end for the chili. This is the perfect soup, certainly worth selling your birthright for. Give it a try and Shabbat Shalom.